This is the Business Breakfast on Dubai Eye 103.8.
With Al Zora City, the premier coastal destination.
So where does the Middle East stand? Where do we here in Dubai, where does the Middle East as a region stand versus global cities when it comes to green buildings and the challenges and the opportunities that the UAE is facing in a new era of that greener real estate? Well, we've got a little bit more insight into that one thanks to our friends at Savills Middle East against the backdrop of COP28 where we're broadcasting from. Savills has launched its latest thought leadership on the current real estate sustainability landscape. New report that takes a look at how various real estate sectors are responding to growing calls for sustainability and where we rank. Let's get the thoughts then of the Associate Director of Research at Savills Middle East. Swapnil Pillai joining us now live on the line. Swapnil, always good to catch up. Thanks so much indeed for your time.
Morning, Tom. Nice to speak to you as well.
So we've long talked about green certified buildings, LEED buildings, etc. Where do we stand at the moment here in the region?
Yeah, just to put things into perspective, if you look at the total stock of grade A commercial assets that we have here in Dubai, for example, out of the total quantum of space that is available, only 22% of that is green certified. And now when you compare that to the rest of the world, especially more advanced markets, this number is small, but we are seeing a lot more inquiries and interest from both landlords as well as occupiers to make sure that their assets are moving towards more ESG compliance. But as a whole, right now, our green certified stock is relatively small compared to what the global average is.
I find that surprising because you'd think that a lot of the developments here are new developments, certainly compared to retrofit developments in other parts of the world, more established markets, as you say. And yet, are developers, are builders not applying those codes from the get-go?
No, I think that's a very interesting point that you mentioned here, Tom, because if you look at the development cycle or the development scale that we have seen over the last few years, there is clearly a move towards more green certified assets. But the ones that were built probably 10 or 15 years ago, which now constitute a major chunk of the existing stock, they are slightly obsolete from the perspective of the environmental certifications.
What about the potential, Swapnil, of retrofitting some of those older builds?
It is quite challenging because, like you said, I think it goes back to the fact that there is significant amount of supply that is coming into the market, and these supplies are green certified. So for a landlord to look at its asset, which could be in a location which is not advantageous from an office perspective or maybe from a warehousing perspective, to look at those assets and then trying to retrofit those. And the capex that is involved to retrofit those assets may or may not necessarily bring the financial incentive that is required to retrofit them. So that is why a lot of landlords might shy away from some of these grade B, grade C assets which are not in the best of locations. So retrofitting is a bit of a challenge here, unlike in the UK where most of the stock is 100, 150 years old, and there are some strict guidelines in terms of maintaining and regulating those assets. So in those cases, retrofitting makes sense because there is limited upcoming supply, and there is most of the existing supply is actually in the prime areas, and they are quite old. But in the case of Dubai and other cities in the region where you have significant amount of new supply coming in, building new stock which is more ESG compliant makes more sense rather than going back and retrofitting the older ones, as of now at least.
Let's look at it from sectors. You just mentioned offices, you mentioned warehousing in your answer there as well. Are some sectors within the real estate industry doing better than others when it comes to these commitments?
There are some sectors which are absolutely more primed or more in a favorable position to kind of embrace sustainability into their operations as well as their development. Logistics sector, for example, takes a limited period of time to build it, maybe 12 to 18 months to get it built. The floor plates and the floor plan is relatively more simpler compared to your commercial as well as residential developments. So warehousing as a sector is definitely more primed to kind of move towards sustainability. And then from a occupier demand perspective, we are seeing a lot more corporates demanding for green certified assets. So office developments are also at the forefront of green certifications.
So in terms of the sort of the findings of the report, Swapnil, I mean, this is something that you can put to developers and to buyers out there. But who's sort of leading this at the moment? Is it the buyers, the end buyers, that are sort of demanding that they have a greener building? Are we seeing more demand for green buildings?
Yeah, so I think that's a very important question, because it is not just one party that is or one stakeholder that is involved in this discussion. It has to be a comprehensive discussion, both starting from the government side to come up with policies and regulations that mandate certain amount of sustainability inbuilt into the assets. Then it comes down to the landlords to try and make sure that whatever they are building is more future proof and ready to meet some of the environmental challenges going forward. And then that will then make sure that the end users then have the options to lease more green certified buildings, which are affordable as well as available in abundance across most micro markets.
Yep. I look forward to seeing more of those projects. Well, really appreciate your time this morning. Thanks, for your time this morning. Thanks also for the report. It is out. Make sure you download a copy now. Associate Director of Research at Savills Middle East is Swapnil Pillai, joining us live on the line on the back of their latest report with regards to green certified buildings. It's the Business Breakfast live from COP.